Deep in the rugged wilderness of Northern California, nestled among towering pine trees, sat the quiet and unassuming town of Keddie, a former railroad community. It was a kind of place where neighbors knew each other and life moved at a peaceful, steadily rhythm. But in the spring of 1981, something would shatter that tranquility forever. A mystery unfolded inside a small cabin, one that would baffle investigators, haunt locals, and spark decades of speculation. What happened at the night remains one of the most chilling and perplexing cases in California history. Join me as I look into the case of the Keddie Cabin murders here on Corras Investigation. Let's look at the murders that caused this unrest. In July 1979, Glenn Susan Sushop, born on March 29, 1945 in Springfield, Massachusetts, moved with her 5 children from Connecticut after separating from her husband, James Sharp. They went to Northern California to live near Sue's brother, Don. Upon their arrival, they rented a small trailer in the Claremont Trailer Village in Quincy. The following fall, they moved to a larger house in Keddie after the local sheriff vacated the property. Sue lived there with her 15-year-old son John, 14-year-old daughter Sheila, 12-year-old daughter Tina, and her 2 younger sons Rick and Greg. On April 11, 1981, at about 11:30 a.m., Sue, Sheila, and Greg drove to pick up Rick from baseball tryouts. They found John and his friend Dana hitchhiking and gave them a ride. 2 hours later, John and Dana hitchhiked back to Quincy, possibly to visit friends. That evening, Sheila intended to spend the night with the Sailboat family. Sue stayed home with Rick, Greg, and the young friend Justin Smart. Sheila left House 28 to go to the Seabolts shortly after 8 p.m., while Tina returned home from watching TV at the Seabolts. At about 8 a.m. on April 12th, Sheila returned to House 28 and found the bodies of Sue, John, and Dana in the living room. All 3 were bound to medical tape and electrical cords. Tina was missing, but the 3 younger children, Rick, Greg, and Justin, were unharmed in a nearby bedroom. Sheila went back to the Seabolt house, where Jamie Seabolt helped retrieve the boys through a window. Jamie admitted to briefly entering the house to check for survivors, which may have contaminated evidence. The murders were particularly brutal, with 2 bloody knives and a hammer found at the scene. Blood splatter evidence suggested that the killings occurred in the living room. Sue was discovered on her side, nude from the waist down, with a blue bandana and her own underwear used to gag her. She had been stabbed in the chest and throat. John's throat was slashed and Dana had multiple head injuries and was strangled. Autopsy revealed that Sue and John died from knife wounds and blunt force trauma, while Dana died from asphyxiation. In many cases, there are multiple suspects, and sometimes people do not know who the true suspects were. But in this case, there were only 2 that people truly believe did the crime. First suspect, Marty Smart. Marty lived in Keddie, California when the murders occurred. He was married to Marilyn Smart, whose son Justin was present in Cabin 28 during the crime but survived. Marty had a reputation for being hot-tempered and abusive, and he worked as a cook at the Keddie Lodge. Marty had a motive tied to his hatred for Sue Sharp, one of the victims. He allegedly blamed Sue for his wife Marilyn wanting to leave him, as Sue advised Marilyn to divorce him due to his abusive behavior. His jealousy and marital problems may have further fueled his anger. Suspicious evidence includes a letter Marty wrote to Marilyn after the murders, claiming he had paid the price for her love with 4 lives. This letter, discovered in 2016, was reportedly not investigated. Marty also allegedly confessed to a therapist, but no action was taken on that report. A hammer believed to be the murder weapon was found in a pond in 2016, and both Marty and her accomplice reportedly burned their clothes after the murders. Marilyn suspected Marty's involvement and noted his obsession with the case afterward. Marty moved away after the killings and died in 2000 from cancer. As mentioned now, Marty had apparently an accomplice, and a lot of people suspect this man to be his accomplice, John Baudet. John had a background of ties to organized crime in Chicago. He moved to Keddie shortly before the murders and was staying with Marty Smart. Bo was a known con artist with a history of violent crimes. Bo and Marty quickly became friends, although Bo had no reason to be in Keddie besides staying with Marty. After the murders, Bo left Keddie and bragged about his criminal past. He gave contradictory statements during police interviews about his whereabouts that night. There are suspicions that the law enforcement might have protected Bo due to his criminal connections, and the Plums County Sheriff's Office is accused of mishandling evidence linked to him. Bo returned to Chicago and died in 1988 without being charged for the Keddie case. And so concludes the Keddie Cabin murders. A mysterious case in this small Californian town, which to this day shocks many people that read about it, and unfortunately those who were suspected of the murders are no longer with us, and we will never know what truly happened on that night. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is my second video of 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed. I just took a little bit of a break. I'm going to see what I'm going to do next. But for now, hope you guys enjoy the videos. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the support. Until the next time, peace and cheers.